All right, guys, we got another exciting one coming. Share this around with your friends. We're going to be discussing with the entire team, the entire exec team on Maven, secrets to success, building an environment that's going to allow you to develop the skills you need in order to be successful in every means of your life. We're going to be playing a little bit of a game today. Winner of the game is going to account given by Emma. Rules and instructions coming in a second. Share this around. See you soon. All right, guys, good morning.
Good morning.
Raise this a little bit more.
Ready?
Perfect, guys. As you can see, we have the entire team here today. Once in a lifetime opportunity to get all of the Maven execs in the same room together, not busy doing something else. This is a team of powerhouse units, each person skillfully, executing a different department here, and just insanely busy every single day. It seems like flicks by. We wake up at noon. We don't realize we haven't eaten until the evening, and it's been a crazy wild ride. So it's exciting to have everyone here today. Today we're actually going to be discussing a little bit about how do we manage that? That is an insane amount of work. There's a lot of things going on. John, Emma, Ryan, Seb, myself, we all have our own specific tasks, and we need to be able to delegate properly. We need to be able to manage our lives properly. And we do need a little bit of time to ourselves to meditate and relax, right? Guys, how are we being so successful and in tune with the everyday notion? That's what we're going to talk about here today, guys. We're going to play a little bit of game. So how it's going to work, first of all, you're going to share this around so that we can get more people in here and get some more lively talk. We're going to be discussing with each person a couple ideas, concepts, or tips and tricks that they come up with that's really notable for them in terms of their productivity and consistency, right? Each person is going to have kind of their own take on what's useful for them. We're going to have them share some tips and tricks. We're going to discuss each one. And what you're going to do afterwards is we're going to collect points. And the people who get the most points, we're going to pick whoever has the most points from a Twitter post. So after this, you're going to make a Twitter post. So take your notes, get your notebook out. I got my Maven notebook right here. I'm going to be writing along with you guys, okay? And we want you to post one concept that you're struggling with, first of all, as kind of the title on your Twitter post. This is maybe the thing that I'm struggling with. An example means I might have poor consistency, right? And you're going to try to find 3 actionable tips from each of the speakers. So it doesn't have to be 3 each, but 3 overall. So you could pick and choose, say Seb has a really good idea, Emma has a really good idea, and Ryan has a really good idea. Maybe come up with some conclusions with that of how you can integrate that into your life and how that's going to improve your consistency, right? That each of those things are going to be worth 1 point each, all right? If you do all 3, 1 point, you also get 1 point for the header, the title there. And then you're going to tag one of the people in the talks here today that really moved you, okay? You're also going to tag Maven, and you're going to thank Maven for the spaces, okay? Guys, you're going to make, it's going to be a nice post, right? You want it to be beautiful, and we want to actually help and engage the community. That's our goal here, right? You actually want to make something that you took away from this space, send it off to the community, and then they're going to learn even further. And that's the person with the best post is going to win the $50,000 challenge giveaway account from maventrading.com. Let's jump into the markets as we always do. Beautiful charts on the screen here, guys. I'm looking at the NASDAQ currently because I was trading it this morning. Nice chart trading going on this morning. Jump to Bitcoin here, guys. And we are seeing Ryan is kicking in his seat here, knowing that he is right. I think I might have to take back my bearish bias there. I'm still not too stoked on it yet until the election's finished, because anything can happen after that election. But that weekly candle was beautiful. The only last thing we want to be looking for is, are we able to hold that level on the monthly candle? If we can hold that level on the monthly candle, I'm still going to be satisfied. Right now, we were testing those previous all-time high levels, right, denoted by that yellow line. And if we can stay in that area, I'm perfectly bullish as well, right? If not, it's a little bit iffy still. So I'm still staying out of the markets. It's not the best thing. We have been ranging for the entire year, so there's no reason to jump on the ball yet. That's my current take on that. S&P still going up a little bit. This past week, we came down for a little bit of retrace. The levels of significance are going to be right around that 7,560 area. NASDAQ failing to gain all-time highs. Looks like we're going to be coming back down on the NASDAQ to some of these mid-range levels here that we see denoted by that green line. Gold, again, non-stop upward movement, guys. Everyone's been kicking themselves if they're in shorts because gold is on a killing spree. Let's jump into the discussion. If you have any questions along the way, Emma, as always, is going to be posting them up on the stream, and we can comment on them if there's any engagement that has to do with what we have to talk about. So I'm going to start off with, maybe I'll start off with John here. John, I know you started already writing your ideas down there and sending them my way. Let's get you to just break down, how are you managing such a large team as well as your own life? How do you find that balance? How do you find that consistency?
Sure. So first of all, can you hear me?
Of course.
Perfect. Okay, great. So first thing I want to note is that when you're a very busy person, I can guarantee you whenever you're doing something exceptionally special, like for example, being on a space, I can guarantee you there will be an Amazon delivery guy knocking at your door, which I'm just going to ignore. So that's number one. Other than that, like, how do I manage my time? Well, the thing is that the bigger Maven grows, the more it can take from one individual team member. And I know that this goes not just for me, but it also goes for all the other team members as well. As our team grows, the demand for us grows as well. So what I have to do is I have to be strict with my time. I am very much a fix-it type of guy coming from the tech space. When I see a problem, I like to get hands-on and fix that. But I'm trying my best to pull back, delegate the task, and let someone else handle it. And then if it doesn't work out, or if it's just something super dire, I'll get directly involved in it. So being more strict with my time, and that is something that I'm constantly working at. Number two would be keeping an itemized list of. So that I always have to be mindful of, right? Once again, because I have that problematic standpoint where I'm a fix-it type of person, I like to fix whatever I see in front of me. Sometimes it's a low priority thing, and there might be higher priorities on the list that I need to handle, for that day. So keeping that list is super important.
Yeah, good stuff. So let's maybe discuss a struggle that you might have had recently in terms of your your keeping that list and faltering off that list. How did you find your footing once again, if you did happen to fall off your schedule?
Sure. So, I'll find myself at times where it's quite obvious that I'm doing multiple things at the same time. And I have to basically first of all, I would say the skill right there is recognizing it. Okay, 1 second here. You could be working more efficiently. That, like, the first thing to solving a problem is realizing that there is an issue. And the problem that I'm always trying to solve is to be most efficient with my time. So first of all, realizing that I'm taking on too many things at the same time. So being 100% each one of these things. And then when I remember that, I always fall back to my list. Okay, what is the top priority? What is it that we need to accomplish today, this week, this month, and always keeping an eye on what timelines are for those different scopes, whether it's the day timeline, the monthly timeline, etc.
Beautiful way to put it, actually, because it's really relating and resonating with me in the computer programming days that we had, where you prioritize things, if this, then that, thinking very logically about your structure of your day. I think that's a beautiful takeaway for the viewers here. Let's jump ship. That is something completely opposite from the logical structure, and bring Seb into the question here. Seb deals with a lot of people, maybe a couple frustrated people, just a huge volume of people, right? Seb, how do you give me a brief rundown of sort of the tips and tricks that you might be using in order to manage all of this chaos that's going on in terms of emotional chaos that you might have?
Absolutely. I think that's the key role that I have, is to ensure that the clients get the answers that they need to get. And when we have such a high volume of people purchasing, and also people inquiring about Maven and wanting to know more about us and what we do, I need to ensure efficient ways that people can get their support ticket answered. And for me, that's being able to build and rely on a really good team, and having the skill of delegation, knowing which part of the operational business I need to delegate to. I'm a big believer in playing to people's strengths. Once you've identified a certain strength that someone has, somebody may be exceptional in speaking to clients who are frustrated or may have had a bad experience or didn't understand X, Y, or Z. And I would then prioritize that person to, speak to more tickets, tag this person if there's an unhappy client. There's some other people who are wizards in spreadsheets and data collection, and just identifying people's strengths and letting them know that they're doing a good job, and creating a fun environment for us, and which is going to then create a fun environment for the clients as well, and just dealing with that volume.
Wow. Yeah, that's really awesome to see the overlap between the two opposite sort of ends of the spectrum, where John is very logical and formatted, right? But it's still a delegation across the team, right? And you're, again, more of the emotional and client-based side of things, but again, delegation across the team. So that's a really good takeaway, I think, at the bottom line there for the client to kind of, or the viewers here to take in, is that delegation and teamwork is really the powerhouse no matter what side you're on. Guys, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. I'm talking about Ryan. The first time I've ever seen this man wear a suit, he jumps on the call here. He said he didn't even tell me. The funny thing is, he jumped on.
Chat thinks we forced that.
Oh yes,
No.
right? So he actually jumped on the preamble here, and his camera was off. And then he turns it on for the stream, and we didn't even realize. So this is actually quite hilarious for all of us in here. We've never seen him wear a suit before. He was complaining about how he'd always had to wear a suit in the past, and he got rid of all his clothes. Ryan, is this your way of telling us this is how you stay productive?
No, and it wasn't forced. I saw that comment as well, Emma. This was total for shock and awe. So I kind of kept it a secret. But no, actually, it's ironic because when you think about success, kind of relating to your question, this is what it looks like to people a lot of times, right? And so it's ironic that I wore it because I wore it for the reason that, kind of don't judge a book by its cover, even though it looks like success, because success has many different forms. And, I consider myself to be a successful person, and I like to wear a t-shirt and hat. So, what do you want to know? Do you want to know things that contribute to my success?
Yeah, so it's quite funny to see the contrast, because we are talking about how to build success, and you've gone and done the obvious ridiculous thing that everyone thinks success is, right?
Exactly.
I'm wearing a big fancy suit, and I've got a this painting that's probably worth $1 million in the background there, painted by whoever, some famous painter, right? And it's a beautiful portrait, but this is not what keeps you organized, is it?
No, I'm old school. I'm very old school. And so, like, always in front of me, I have a list that I make the night before of everything that I need to get done. I incorporate everything from business to personal things, my kids, whatever, and I check things off as I go. Sometimes throughout the day, I add to the list. Sometimes I take things off and move them to the next day. But I always, no matter what, when I work, I have a list in front of me, knowing of things that I need to get done. And I don't feel productive, and I don't go to bed until I'm satisfied that list has enough check marks on it. And so the nights where I'm up late, it's because maybe like for instance, last couple of days, my kid's mother, she wasn't feeling well, so I've had the kids, and I wasn't expecting to have them Monday or Tuesday this week, and so I just adapt, right? So, and that's the thing with work and life balance. I commingle them, and commingle sometimes is a bad word. In this case, I think it's a good word. I view my personal life and my business life as one and the same. I treat everything as just one life, and so that's how I do it. It's very old school. It's just a list.
Yeah, good stuff, Ryan. It's so simple. You got a list in front of you, and you make sure things get done before you go to bed. Now, what happens if something doesn't get done? What do you do?
Well, that goes to my kind of morning routine, which I've said this several times before. One thing that I never do, I have not done it in 3 decades, is hit the snooze button. I refuse to start the day failing. And if I hit the snooze button in my mind, that's starting the day off failing. And so when my alarm goes off, I get up. Most of the time I'm up. Like today, I was up 30 minutes before it went off. When I do that, I do what I have to do for the kids, and then I start where my list left off. And throughout the night, I may have added to it. Before I went to bed, I may have added to it. Mm-hmm. But I started the most recent things that I didn't get done that I need to get done, and I start from there, and I prioritize that list as well. So I don't necessarily do it in exact order. I do it based on priority. For instance, like if John wants something or needs something, that's more of a priority than something that can wait a day or two. So I definitely prioritize the list.
Yeah, that's again, it's a little bit of an overlap without being so crazy structured and logical like John was, where we can see sort of this different dynamic that each board member is kind of putting in here. It's just a little bit different way of thinking here. But the takeaway from that, guys, is largely that we have a priority-based list. We have things that we need to do, and it's just checking them off as we go. And Ryan does it in a very simple way, and I think that's what works for him, because maybe you just don't want anything too complicated, because overcomplicating things is going to stress out your life. I'm going to drop myself here on the main screen here and remind you guys, if you're just tuning in, we are playing a game right now. You should be taking notes. We've got our Maven notebook here, right? And every single exec on the board here, we're explaining different things that build our success. We have very, very busy lives. We're working with teams. We're working with large numbers of people, large numbers of numbers, right? And that can be stressful to balance between your work and your life. So what we want to do is we want to help the community. We want to help you guys. We want to make you good traders. We want to make you calm and at peace all at the same time. So all of these things, guys, we want you to take notes. We want you to think about the most difficult thing that you're challenged with, right? And we want you to type that into Twitter, right? Twitter post, okay? And this is my problem that I'm trying to solve. And I want you to take 3 takeaways, one from a different person. So maybe one from John, one from me, one from Emma, right? And you're going to get a point for each thing you do here, right? And then we're going to tally them up, and we're going to pick a winner. You're going to figure out a takeaway from those points and how it helps you adapt and learn and grow from that problem that you're struggling with. You're going to tag your favorite exec in your hand. You're going to tag Maven, and you're going to make that post, and potentially you're going to win a $50,000 account there. Guys, we're going to jump off into Emma. Okay. Emma is an expert in organization. You know, she's always doing a lot of the book sort of stuff and tracking everything for us and really just getting it down our necks when we're not acting properly, right? Emma, what's it like managing a school of delinquents? I'm just kidding.
Honestly, you guys have gotten so much better, though.
Yeah.
Like from when I started, you guys are way more organized. Chris is actually the one. Hunter is the one who is nagging people all the time, not just me. So it's been good.
It's funny how that works now. Hey, so here's into an actual question. You are a very structured organizational sort of energy, right? Maybe let's give some tips to somebody who might have a similar energy that might help them get through their day to make sure everything gets done and make sure that they're not stressing too much.
Yeah, sure. As much as I am organized my day to day, I can get a little chaotic, and I think it's okay to have a little chaos going on in your day. So for me, I will step away from my computer, my devices for 15, 20 minutes at a time just to take a break from stuff and focus on something entirely different. The other thing I tend to do is just step outside, even if it's just for 5 minutes, because you kind of have to disconnect. And I think that's the primary thing that keeps me motivated throughout the day, just disconnecting for a little while.
Gotcha. So what about in terms of actual organization from your workflow? You basically summon this all up to say, you know, all that keeps me productive is not working? You know what I mean?
No, that's not true entirely. You know that's not true. You know I'm working all the time. No, the main thing in the morning is to make sure I know exactly what's on my calendar. I shouldn't be asking myself midday, oh, what's happening this afternoon? I need to know what's going on from the get-go. I also will write down a few of the primary tasks that I want to make sure I complete for the day, and then, you know, assess at the end of the day whether I got those done, why I didn't get those done, if it's okay that I didn't get those done, and then plan for the next day based on that.
Good. A lot of self-compassion and understanding with what can actually reasonably get done, and that's going to lower that stress environment. That is a beautiful way to look at it. Guys, she has a large balance between, you know, her actual work-life balance rather than just going headstrong into everything. Not everyone is going to want to be working constantly. So you're going to really have to assess this for yourself and see what level of work are you actually going to be happy with, right? We all have varying levels that we can work at any given time. We need to be mindful of that, you know, kind of referencing Louise there in the other days, being mindful and meditative and making sure that we connect with ourselves. Guys, it is so interesting to see the differences, but everyone said the same thing basically on the board here. And we did not communicate beforehand. This is actually completely ad lib. I actually don't really have many notes, and I just told them to jump on the space this morning. So the interesting thing is this is what they've all come up with is the most important things. And when I go to my notes here, I actually have, it says blocking your day. That means for me, what I do is I block my day into sections. And this is the exact same thing that everyone else said, right? It's all organization and it's all teamwork is the other thing, right? What I do is my mornings are trading, and then we do our meetings and we do our actual core work at Maven. In the afternoons, I do my exercise, and then I do my creative work, the videos and whatnot, right? So creating that block structure allows me to disconnect from each thing as the day goes on. In the evening times, I socialize and I relax and I do my meditations and whatnot. So that way you don't have your fighting forces. This is a really good one from the trader point of view. The takeaway here is if you're stressing about your trading, you only ever get to think about trading in the morning, right? I don't actually allow myself to look at trading ever after the first couple hours. So that's a good takeaway here for me. I've also noticed that a lot of us, we were talking about delegation and teamwork. And that is one of the most important things I noticed when Seb was talking about picking the right person for the role. And if you notice, each person on this board is the right person for that role. And we've been able to do that ourselves. And Seb's been able to do that with some of, his staff. John's been able to do that with his developers, always finding the right person. So I'm getting a lot of answers that have to do with organizational time, balancing things so that you're not crazy overworked, prioritizing things, right? And then not doing everything yourself. Everyone wants to be this big dog that's working all the time and got this big ego and fluffing themselves up. But the team is where you're going to go far. Okay. I'm going to do a fast kind of lightning round here and jump back to John. And see if he's got any more intakes on here. If there's anything else that you wanted to add in terms of getting over any sort of obstacles that you might face. Let's say you have a regular. Here's the question. Okay, let's say you have your schedule. It's all going great, and you hit a hiccup. Well, I don't know what the hiccup could be. You could get sick. You could, break a leg. You could lose a job. Right? Any sort of hiccup. How do you get over that?
Sure. Well, the first thing you have to do, and we've positioned ourselves here at Maven specifically for that scenario, or I guess one of the offshoots of having 5 directors is being able to handle that scenario. For the most part, we can pick up each other's slack, right? So if one of us gets hurt, injured, whatever, the other 4 of us can kick in. Maybe not do the job as effectively as the other because it's their department, but I'm sure we'd be able to figure that out. So, I mean, when you have a hiccup, you have to reprioritize, take a look at your priority list again. Make sure that you always keep the highest priority things on top. See if there's something that is such high priority that it cannot wait for you to rectify whatever your hiccup situation is, as you call it. And if it can't wait, then you have to delegate that task off to another team member to make sure it gets done.
Yeah.
I would say that, that would be the order of events. And then, of course, after that, and I'm, Emma will definitely echo this, to reschedule your calendar, right? Reformat your next week or however much time it's going to take for you to get back into the game and get back on schedule.
Yeah, fantastic. So what I'm hearing is lowering the amount of workload you have at the time to only the critical things, and really giving yourself a minute to get over whatever obstacle that you might have, and giving yourself that, that self-love there.
Yeah.
Excellent stuff. So let's jump back quickly to Seb. Another quick, fast action one. Seb, stress. Let's just talk about stress. Let's say there's no hiccup, but you're just getting worried, you're getting overworked. What's the go-to?
I think stress comes from not being able to control yourself emotionally or manage yourself emotionally. And if you're under stress, then you don't have control of the situation. That's what causes the stress. So you need to think, okay, why am I under stress? Why has X, Y, and Z happened? And then you can then act on it and deal with it in a way that, okay, maybe I am bogged down too much work. I shouldn't have spent the whole weekend at the pub. It's reassessing what you're doing to ensure that. I believe that there's 3 key elements that someone has, and that's their health, that's their social life, so family, and their work, what they do to provide. And if you think of those 3 as apples, if you get one bad apple, the other 2 apples are going to rot as well. So all about keeping the balance between all the 3 aspects in your life. And that should minimize stress in that way. You've just got a good balance and you enjoy what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Great. Good stuff. Yeah. It's largely, I heard from you, the fact of stress only comes when you're not emotionally stable, right? If you're not in a calm state, then you're not going to be able to manage that stress. So guys, this is where journaling comes in. This is where the meditation comes in. You're starting to see all these things that we've been pushing on you guys. The journaling, the meditation, the talking to people about things, calming down, walking away, like Emma said, walking away from the computer for a little bit, right? All these things lower the stress over time, and keeping those habits in check is going to make you perform well. Ryan, I got a quick one for you.
Sure.
Diet and exercise, how is that put into, you're obviously the guy I'm going to ask about this one. Diet and exercise, how critical is that? Just a quick one here. What would you recommend?
I think that is an extremely critical thing, or at least for me it is. And I'll tell you why. Like when I eat clean and I'm exercising and things, I feel way better. Clarity mentally, I can process things better. My responses are more well thought out and so on. When I put shit into my body, like if I'm eating a bunch of fast food or if I'm not going to the gym and my body's used to that, or when I used to put alcohol into it a lot, you have like a cloudy brain and you're just 100 times not as efficient. And I would challenge everybody to try something, like clean eating, for instance. Like I do mostly the carnivore thing, and I know you've done it. I know John has done it. It's a game changer when it comes to health and how it makes you feel. And it's not just physical. There's a huge mental component, cognitive component to eating healthy like that. And like they say, a healthy body, healthy mind. So for me personally, it's a massive thing. If I wasn't in shape, or when I haven't been in shape, I find myself not to be nearly as productive as I am when I am.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I think that was the answer we're all looking for. There's not much more to it than that. And if you guys are fighting with that, I think it's a pretty obvious sign that you need to actually get back into the gym and get back on that healthy diet. Right. Emma, what did I want to ask you about? Oh, the environment, just your space around you. How would you recommend people set up the space, the physical office around them in order to stay calm and collected and keep that?
I am actually the worst person to ask about this right now.
All right, John. I'm just kidding.
No, it's just because right now I'm kind of in a bit of a weird space in the sense that I am currently staying with my sister. So I am in her space and am not entirely set up the way I would want to be. But for me, generally, it's trying to keep things decluttered. If you have clutter everywhere, it's just going to bog down your mind and drive you absolutely insane. So it's definitely that. And it's definitely just making sure I have all the tools by me so that I can do the work I need to do, whether that's like my keyboard. I use multiple screens, so I always make sure I have my multiple screens set up. I've got everything I need at my desk, so I don't have to go looking for it, because if I have to do that, that stresses me out. So
awesome. Thank you, Emma. That's a great way to finish off there. I'm going to let you look at some comments if there's anything that pops out, and I'm just going to finish off with a little bit of being the dedicated self-appointed trader of the team. I'm going to give a little bit of sort of trading advice here. And guys, if I want to stay calm in the trading world, I need to make sure that trading is not everything, right? When I was trying to make trading just as my sole source of income, when I was trying to push money every single day, I noticed that every single day my heart was fluttering. I was panicking. I was freaking out. I was making decisions too quickly. I wasn't following the plan. I felt terrible, right? And I don't know why you would even want to trade if you feel that way, right? First of all, trading is all about freedom, right? And if you have that heart fluttering all the time and you're in pain watching the chart go against you, you really want to do that? It's like, why? Why do you want to sit there and be in pain all day just to make a little bit extra money maybe? And then you're probably just going to lose it anyways, right? If you are feeling that way. So having something on the side, don't dedicate your whole life to trading. Use trading as a hobby. What I suggest you do is budget. If you've got $100 extra that you want to reserve for a hobby per month, right? This is what I say you do. Put that $100, treat trading like a hobby. You got $100 for a hobby, right? You go to the gym, that costs $100 a month anyways, right? You do other things. Maybe you go skiing, that's $100 a month, right? Now you got another hobby and it's trading. You spend $100 a month. You buy 1 or 2, 3 challenges from maventrading.com. You can get all the way up to a $100,000 account there, or as low as a $2,000 account for super, super cheap. So check it out. And then just keep every month. Don't go over that limit. Keep going, and then eventually you'll be like, oh, this makes a little more sense. And then you might start getting payouts every once in a while, right? You're still going to be losing money, right? But it's a hobby. And this is the funny thing is you got other hobbies that aren't making you money that are just as fun, right? You go maybe play some sports or something. You're not making money playing those sports, but you're getting just as much excitement. So this is a fun one because you can actually make a little bit of money with this hobby, right? And eventually it'll turn into a job. Guys, we're going to wrap it up there. That was a beautiful speech from all of the speakers. Emma, are there any questions that are just dying to be heard before I wrap up the rules here and tell people how they're going to win their accounts?
Yeah, there's a couple questions that are kind of relevant to the topic at hand. So someone was asking us how crucial family support has been in like our journeys and stuff, whether this is trading or just in your day-to-day and your work and just success.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I'll leave that one. Does anyone want to take that? Does anyone want to I'll drag you over if that's critical?
Okay. Does anyone want to take it? Ryan, I can see you're eager.
I mean,
you're ready to go.
It's different because I am the family support here. So
Yeah.
financially and emotionally, because I have younger kids. But I do think family and support and just in general, I mean, just remember, just because you're related to someone doesn't necessarily make them family. That means that you have other family. And I would just encourage everyone to support them or surround themselves with people that want to see you win and that are positive on what your journey is. I know that trading a lot of times, people take a lot of negativity and a lot of discouragement with it. And I would just recommend you to like start suppressing people. I talk about this a lot. Start suppressing people out of your life that do that. Along the way to be successful, you're going to lose friends. You're going to lose people out of your life. It's just part of the game. And if someone doesn't clap when you win is the biggest thing, get them out.
Yeah.
It's actually quite interesting that you bring that up, Ryan, because that was one of the points that I made on the collab that we just did with Proper and Match that just came out today. I was talking about, on your way to success, you will probably lose a couple of friends along the way. You will realize that friendship might be toxic, or they might be not actually in your corner rooting you on.
Yep. I totally stole that from you, by the way.
Oh, did you?
I know. Well, it was in my mind as I was saying it. Let's say that.
All right. Can I move this?
All right.
I have trouble moving that. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah. So someone else is wondering about how to set realistic yet ambitious goals, both for their personal lives and their trading lives.
I'll grab that real quick with the way that I approach it. I think the easiest way to think of a goal or set it is you have got to find what you're passionate about in this life. People that chase money, you will be chasing it forever. But if you find what you're truly passionate about and you do that every day, the money will eventually find you, I promise. And I know that like the management team here that you see on screen, we're all super passionate about not only Maven, but this industry, the evolution of it and where we think it's going. So I would truly recommend that everybody do something that they're passionate about. To ultimately be successful and happy, you have to have that in life.
Yeah. Notice every single one of us is nodding their head along with that one. Good stuff. Thanks, Ryan.
Yep.
Emma, do we got one more?
Yeah, so I think this is important. Someone was asking about habits outside of the work environment. So habits that you form in your day-to-day life, how you keep your personal life managed, rather than just the work stuff that we've been touching on.
Yeah, totally. This is I'll jump in here, right? Similar to how I said blocking your day into different sections. Some people like John, he's an absolute beast where his day is 24 hours of work and that's his block. And then he naps when he blinks, you know what I mean? I'm not somebody that does that. I'm somebody that needs the balance in their life or everything gets chaotic, right? And it's very, very productive when you're that way in terms of balancing it throughout the day so that you can block and dedicate really, really strong. And I think each of us are so passionate, as Ryan was saying, with everything that we do, that when you block it, I think a lot of our traders have the same sort of idea that they're just obsessive about things, right? And when you go into the market, you just can't stop thinking about it. You're trading nonstop, you're over trading, it's causing yourself problems. So you need to have other obsessions throughout the day, and you need to switch between the two, right? That's how I've been able to balance properly. And when I'm meditating at the end of the day, that's all I'm doing. I'm sitting there journaling, meditating. It's, you know, calm environment. I don't think about anything but that. It's an obsession for that hour. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I have a bit of a more boring thing to add to this. But in terms of like personal habits and stuff, doing something to improve your environment every single day, even if it's just something as simple as, cleaning up, spending 20 minutes doing some cleaning just to improve your environment and feel better about having something completed and done outside of work. I think that's kind of crucial.
It goes really hand in hand with something my mom actually taught me when I was really young. She said a change is just as good as a break, right? So anytime you're starting to get too much into something, get up, work on something else, still be productive. As Emma's saying, start cleaning, right? And then you're still productive. You're still getting that momentum going, and then you still have the balance in everything, right? As long as everything is healthy and you're not sitting down having a bag of chips, watching TV, then eating pasta, then going out for ice cream, right? And that's really going to be unhealthy. Guys, and that's all we have for today. So we've been playing a game this whole time. And if you haven't been playing it, well, you got better tune in next time, because we might play a game again in the future. When the whole team is on here, we get a whole lot of information. And what we wanted to do is really narrow that down to something useful that we can spread with the world. Okay. So I wanted you to put one difficulty that you are facing, one major problem that you can't seem to struggle with, and then take notes throughout the speeches. We had 5 people speaking today, but I only want 3 major takeaways, one from a different each one from a different speaker. All right. Reflect on how those takeaways help fix that problem that you are struggling with. All right. And then I want you to tag your favorite CA exec and tell them how much you love them. And then I want you to tag maventrading.com, or tag at maventrading on Twitter, on x.com. That's what we're at. If you haven't tried maventrading.com yet, please make sure you check out there. There's $100,000 accounts for pretty dang cheap. You got pretty good trading conditions, and you got a really reputable team here that's got your back to support you. Guys, thanks for watching. We'll be doing a surprise event next week. So tune in for that. Something a little bit spooky, maybe. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. And the winner will be chosen by Emma from that giveaway. She's going to be going through those posts, and then she's going to be picking the best one. Okay. She's going to comment on your video. If there's anything else you want to add, guys, before we go, we can end it off that. See you guys next week.